everybody, it's the Game Colonel again, and it is great to finally be back doing another video. As you know, I've probably been gone for about 2 months. Work has gotten a little busy, and also this is probably going to be my last video for about another 2 months. As some of you may know, I'm currently deployed to the Middle East, and I'm getting ready to rotate back home. So that means packing everything back up into boxes, getting the movers out here, and shipping everything home, and spending a little time with family and getting back readjusted. I'm looking forward to it. This has been a tremendous assignment. Some great living, some great work environments, but it's time to head back home. Anyway, back to the video. You know, right now I have seen a ton of new PS4 video players out there, especially not just in game, but also jumping into my website, looking at some of the hints and tips, and I really appreciate that. So what I want to do is do another video, kind of help those folks out, but also some new PC players. It really doesn't matter what system you're playing on, but I want to focus on how to approach, dock, or land at stations, outposts, and settlements. You know, I'm not going to discuss any keystrokes or any specifics based on what system you're using, because I use a PC, I use a keyboard, mouse, joystick. You're using something totally different. So what I'm going to talk about is the methods and procedures that I use. Hopefully they help you out. It's up to you to find out what keystrokes, what combination you use on your controller, and go forth from that point there. So again, let's take a look at some stations, outposts, and settlements. Now the stations, they fit most all sizes of ships. Okay, they've got everything you need there. The only thing they're not going to have, and it's hit or miss, you have to research it, is a black market. But other than that, all ships can fit. Let's take a look at the map here real quick. See what we got here. Now I have already set in from my home port of Wolf 406, Kupernik. Let's take a look at that, because that has a wide range of facilities that we're going to go ahead and visit and do some approaches to. Now the reason I'm doing some of these approaches, the frustration level I've seen on the forum and some of my YouTube videos about approaching and getting out into space led me to this decision to do a video on this. Anyway, here we go here. Simple system, pretty diverse. This is what represents a station, okay? You've got this square box with the line through it. You've also got a circular with a line through it. These three represent stations, okay? We're going to talk about the other two later, but these three, there's another one there, that's a station. They're going to be called different things. Celis Orbital, Andrews Dock, and Vonneberg Terminal. Regardless of whatever they're called, that's what they represent. You want to find out what's in them? There's all the information. What state it's in, if it's friendly, and everything that they support, to include their economic details. I'm not going to go into that. I've talked about that earlier. Now let's get out there, let's fly and approach this station, and we're only at 12.29 light seconds from the sun, from that star, so it's not going to take us too long. Let's do a couple approaches and see what this is all about. Alright, here I am, sitting in our starport. Let's take off out of here. I'm in my trusty Fertilance, named Ivana Humpala. Yes, I'm a big Austin Powers fan on the sides. Excuse me. Here we go. Let's get the launch out of the way. We're going to find two different approaches. One, a standard approach that I use all the time, and then another approach, I call it my combat approach, and we're going to see the differences between the two. Okay, I'm engaged in my head tracking software. Let's get out through the mail slot. Always a fun challenge. Wait till you get the bigger ships going out there. Throttled up, full throttle, let's boost away. I always try to exit on the green side and enter on the green side. Keeps a safe flow of traffic out there. Okay, where's my target? Okay, we're going to enter hyperspace, go up to Kupernik for a quick flight, and then we're going to go into Super Cruise on our way out to the station of choice. Okay, here we go, approaching the star in hyperspace. Coming down into Super Cruise, and I am going to keep the throttle full throttle. Okay, now the time you see below the distance to the orbital, 40 1 second. I'm going to get ready to drop down into 50% power when I reach the 7-second mark. I'm going to drop that right down so I don't overshoot on this one. Now my approach is also going to be under. I choose to go under because I don't want to do the main path. There's 7, I'm down to 50, I go back up to 75 power at this point. Okay, now it's just a matter of coming up here, and again, I chose to go underneath because it's not a direct route. Ergo, I'll avoid some pirating activity. Now I've got a visual of the Celis orbital, and with this 75% setup here, this will automatically slow down due to the gravity well of the planet. Now as I approach this station, I'm going to want to line up as close as I can get to the mail slot coming in for a direct thing. Now you can approach any direction you want, you're just going to have to fly around the terminal. Okay, so as you see the mail slot on my left hand side there of my screen, you're getting close. I'm going to disengage now, and it should be just to the right a little bit. Throw down there, not too bad. I'm going to go 1 boost. Get me close enough to communicate. I'm going to hit 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and initiate contact with the docking. Okay. I have gotten my docking approval. You see me going to docking space 22. Now it's just a matter of aligning it. Okay, I'm going to go to about 10% power, trying to aim at below 100, speed of 100 or 100 knots, whatever you want to call it. It's not knots, I know it's faster than that. And just aligning it to go in. Remember, I'm going to enter on the green side, just like you would in a ship. Staying close on the green, entering in, keeps traffic clear. Now I'm looking for space 22. Right, so as I go through the dock, I'm aware it may be right below me at some point. Okay, and there it is right down a little bit in front. Perfect location. Now I choose to approach here. I'm still on auto speed. I drop the gear, it slows me down a bit more. Okay, I start my lineup. Now I choose to fly into the space based on, well, what my clearance is here at this point. Okay, now I'm hand flying this. I'm going to fly right into it. You can also drop down, fly above it, and drop into it. Okay, I'm going to lower it this point. There we go. And we've made it a successful landing. Again, you could do this with any size ship. You can also, if you really want to, put this into an autopilot, a landing autopilot. Now I use that for bigger ships. So I've used that before. The problem is it takes up a space within pretty much what's always in on every ship, a limited amount of spaces you can put items. But that's your choice if you choose to do so. Now this was a regular approach, what I call regular, into a station. Now let's go out and let's do a combat approach, and it's kind of what we talk about when we're flying a combat aircraft. We're going to approach to an airfield. We do what's called a spiral approach. We're going to spiral down in, giving the enemy or anybody else out there to get us a harder target to, a harder target to hit. So we're going to do the same thing in this system here. So let's go back out and approach another station with that type of approach in mind. Okay, here I go into Andrews Dock. Reaching 7, I'm not slowing down yet. Okay, now I've decided to slow down, but I've still caught in the gravity well. I'm going to type now Andrews Dock, and I'm going to aim right for it and see how close I can get into this. Coming over, this is where it works for head tracking software. I use the gravity well of the planet to slingshot me around. Anybody trying to follow me is going to have a little bit of work to do. Okay, there's always different levels of accuracy you can get through this. Okay, that was a little further out, but it's the same effect. I come cutting through. I've got now 75% power, already bulleted off using the gravity well of the planet. Each object of body out there has the same thing. Now I'm coming up here, coming underneath the planet, and it's still keeping me going. It's all right. Line right up, and let's see if we can get lined up a bit more, and boom, I That should take us very close to the front of the planet. Allow us to get to the front of the dock. Look at that, perfect. Do one boost. Get me close enough for comms. Okay, switching to comms. And gonna request docking. Docking is the same. Process. And you'll enter and go ahead and land. Simple as that. Again, spinning around the planet, utilizing that gravity slingshot effect, similar to when you're taking an aircraft and you're landing it down in a spiral pattern to the airport. Timing your entry right aligned with the approach end of the runway. Look at me going on the red side. That's the law. Okay, so we're there.
Continue on current course, Commander. Landing area clear.
Now let's go ahead and take a look at an outpost. Okay, now we're looking back at the map again. I'm still in the same system, docked at the Andrews dock. Now we're looking at an outpost. Here's an outpost. They are denoted by this symbol right here. They have more limited services, but the thing that stands out most is they can only accept small and medium-sized craft. If you have a large orca, a beluga, anaconda, ships along that line, they will not be able to dock at these stations here. So those are out of your options, okay? They are limited in what they provide support for. Let's take a look at this one here, Boderick Terminal, and you click this. What are they offering here? And this will tell you what they do, okay? The refinery. So we're gonna go ahead and do an approach out to this one here. The key thing that matters, or is changed for this also, an approach, is it doesn't really matter the direction of travel that you approach or land at this. It does get a little tricky on the landing because there's only one way into the landing pad that is acceptable. We'll take a look at that when we arrive, and you'll see that really only by visual cues as you approach. So let's get ready and head out that way. Okay, we're starting to approach Broderick Terminal. Again, key for this, as with any approach, I try to stay out of the main shipping lane, so I stay a little bit below. Got nothing on board, so it's really no concern for me at this time. There's going to be a time when you're carrying some some valuable cargo, and this will impact it. So here we go. I'm going to do a standard approach. I'm going to cut it down at 7. We're going to do a straight in approach. Okay, straight in, remember there is no mail slot to aim for, so I'm just going to kind of keep aiming towards the underside of Broderick Terminal. Okay. Remember it's 7. I drop down to 50% power and then right up to 75% again. Now the throttle will be controlled utilizing that gravity well. So here we come here. Getting closer. Some great views out there. And let's just go for this direction right here. I'm just going to ride it in. Pretty simple. Looking at my lower left-hand side, my distance marker of where I'm at. Again, if I'm carrying some equipment, high-value targets, cargo or passengers, I'm going to change my approach a little bit. But right now, this works fine. And we're getting ready to disconnect. And there we go. I drop down to pretty much 0 throttle. Give it one solid boost. Now we're going to request. Dock. Okay, 5. Let's get over here and find the terminal. Usually, the outposts have landing pads on all sides of the facilities. So it doesn't matter how you approach. This one here is a little different. Got it on one side. Now there's 5. Slow down a little bit here. And then I'm going to take a look at this to show you the approach. Sorry, my head tilting software is not moving too fast for you. Okay, so if you look right ahead, you've got 2 pads. I'm going to look up a little bit more so you can see this. Bring on my lights. Okay, see those arrows and the 2 pads right direct? That is my approach direction. As you approach an outpost, look for this. This is the only way that you can enter it. Now, conversely, on the other side, it doesn't exist. It's usually a control center, some other machinery, whatnot. You can mistakenly enter that way and you're going to get a reverse entry signal. Okay? Not going to let you know. You'll actually be able to set down on the pad, but it will not accept your landing. Okay? And then just do a standard flight. So, here. Over. And drop this baby down.
Landing gear not deployed.
Hey, there's a good note. Thank you very much, Pigeon Betty. She is very helpful.
Landing gear deployed.
And we've made it.
Engines
Okay,
disengaged.
we're at the starport. Excuse me. We're at the outpost. Again, the biggest key to that is remember, if you have a large ship, you cannot land at these locations. What services are available? Do your homework before you leave to head out to these, and you should have no problem. Okay, next, let's take a look at some planet-side services. Okay, now let's take a look at settlements. Those are landing locations on the surface of a planet or a moon. They're denoted by this blue ring, okay, and also by the building-looking spikes that send up from, I don't know how to describe it anymore, but so you can have some of these that have just a blue ring. That means you can land on this, but there's no settlements. These ones, this identifier right up here says it's a settlement. The biggest thing to remember for this is you have gravity to contend with. Approaching is the same thing. You're going to approach it from whatever direction around the planet and look for that landing spot, and then approach it, ask for permission to land, and then go ahead and land. The key point is looking for the level of gravity before you head there. Now, granted, that's great if you're doing some pre-flighting for this and you remember. I've been stuck going to planets many times when I've forgotten to check what the gravity is and have to deal with an extremely low gravity, which is not a big deal in a ship, or a very high gravity. So let's look at the difference between these two. Here's the first planet. Here, I'm clicking this, and my gravity level for this now is 0.06 G, hardly anything at all. As opposed to, let's go to this planet. Okay, 11G. Let's go to this planet. Let's go to this planet. Okay, the G's vary based on their orbit. Okay, here's one right here. This planet here. Where did you go? Where did you go? Killing me, guys. There we go. This planet has 3.6. Oh, that's a gas giant. Alright, anyway, you get my point. Check what the gravity is here. You will be surprised, especially by planets closer into moons, closer into a planet. Your G level will increase quite a bit. Okay? I'm not seeing too many out here. They're pretty light, but you can be surprised and in the wrong time. So let's get back here and let's head out to this station. Hitting the key here, we're going to rotate a little bit, look for our lab. There it is, Gelfin Lab. Click that, let's set our waypoint, and let's get on our way. Okay, here we go, approaching Gelfin Lab. I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. There we go to 50%. Back up to 75%. Just cruise under this here. Okay, at first I'm going to look for the identifier for the lab. Is it on this side of the planet? Is it on the other side? Again, I'm looking to come in at approximately a 45-degree angle. So I can't tell that until I approach this planet. Okay, looks to be on this side. Come out a little bit wider. Putting signal. Okay, there we go. Let's slow it down just a little bit here. And position myself to come in to approach at 45. Be right at the sunset portion of the planet. Really nice. Let's go a little off-shaped moon. Planet, excuse me. Okay, slow it down a little bit. One thing you can tell how low the gravity is look at how much gap is between the surface.
Flight engaged.
of this moon is, and the yellow line. That'll tell you that the gravity's pretty weak in this area. Okay. So now we're coming in just about a 45. And don't be afraid to get right up in there personal and close with your target. You're going to see this. I'm going to be able to approach right at the same distance of when I can actually start requesting communications, right? Throttle is off. Gonna get right out from orbital cruise. Let's get a good visual on this here. Boom. We've got the ground visuals on the radar. Getting harder to see, so I'm gonna go back to this. And let's cruise in a little bit here. Nice view, pretty close to the sun. Always kind of nice for shadows and effect. Okay, getting close to the top here. Hold off a little bit. Dive right in on this baby. Here we go. Seems a little unnerving, but we will be fine. Keep your throttle off. At this point, ask for permission to land.
Tango, Hotel, Echo. Follow correct procedures before attempting to dock at this port.
Alright, we got clearance.
Request approved. Please make your way to landing pad 0.
I'll go to a left downwind. Turn this here. Hopefully, again, I apologize for the head tracking software. Here is drop. We're going to 8. That is 8. Again, I fly it in like regular. If you have an IG planet, be very careful at this stage here. Your motion downward will plow you right into the planet's surface. Okay, your thrusters are pretty weak on a planet, as far as the ones that keep you from going up and down. Here we go. There's the loitering.
Clear the area, Commander. You are currently in breach of flight regulations.
Excellent. This is 6 and not 8. You know. My bad. I think it happens to everybody. We can look at number 8. There we go. There's number 8. To the right. See, not trying to show perfection, but this is how you just adjust for it. Coming down, this is 8. And we're moving down. And we've landed. A little slow on the landing. As you can tell, I picked the wrong pad. I think that was just... Not sure what that was. Anyway, my error. But it was easily to be correctable. Just lift it up, moved over, utilizing your thrusters. I moved laterally over to the next pad, or pad number 8, where I was supposed to be, and went ahead and landed. Again, other than that, it's like a little bit different, of course, than your orbital stations in your outpost, but again, you really have to deal with gravity and just getting down to the surface. This is only possible if you have the add-on to the game, if it allows you to go down to surfaces. If not, and there's plenty of stations for y'all to land in. Okay, that's it for me. I appreciate your viewership as always. Thank you for everything. If you enjoyed it, give a thumbs up to the video. If not, I am looking forward to your comments, both positive and negative. I still look at those even though I'm not online. I can still check the comments out there. So please, I appreciate all your support. I will see you in about 2 months back home in the good old USA. As always, thank you very much for watching. This has been the Game Colonel, and have a great day.